I am very antisocial at work. I've been there for like 15 years, well, 17 now, and I always eat lunch at my desk. So last year, I decided to be a little bit friendlier, and I started to eat lunch in the cafeteria. And I managed to make friends with a couple of the people working there, and we got this little Latino table where we all sat together. And then one day, I come home to work for lunch, and I'm really upset because I've been hearing all these lies that they're talking about the Venezuelan immigrants, how they are getting a lot of money, and they're getting everything for free, and they don't have to work, and they're getting the papers, and I'm really upset. So I sit at the table, and I tell my friends all the lies that I heard, and I look at them, and they all agree that those are true. Now, I know that all Latinos are not the same. We're not a monolith. We think different things, like there's Latinos that are homophobic. There are Latinos that don't believe on abortion. We don't think the same. We don't even speak the same way. We have different accents. But I thought that in the issue of immigration, we would all agree on the same thing. After all, we are all freaking immigrants. But we're not. And I'm getting really upset at them. So I stand up and I don't eat lunch anymore. I spend the whole day thinking about the lies that I've been hearing. And I started thinking about the lies that I heard about this country way back when I was in Guatemala. Lies that they told us about how everything here was going to be easy, how you make so much money that you could grab a shovel and put the money into a barrel because you will make so much money. And then I came to this country and found out that's not the way it is. First of all, I was undocumented. And then I had to work 2 or 3 jobs to make some money. And the people that gave me a job, even though they knew I wasn't documented, would tell me that they gave me a job because immigrants, we work really hard and we do the job that Americans don't want to do because they are lazy. And they tell us that not because it's true, but because that way they can get away with paying us very little money and don't give us any benefits. I didn't know that, and a lot of recent immigrants don't know that, and that's what we are taking advantage of. But Americans are also told a lot of lies. Americans are told that immigrants come to this country to eat your dogs and cats. You are told that we come to this country to take over your jobs and your land and force our language on you. And you see, you are told this because you are told that we come here to take advantage of this country. When in reality, this country has interfered in the political events of our countries, and that's why we are forced to come here. But you don't learn that because there's a whitewashed version of history that is taught in schools. The same kind of history that doesn't teach you about Black Wall Street, that doesn't teach you about the Tulsa Massacre, that doesn't teach you about redlining and all those other things that have kept African Americans down. We are told lies, so we don't get together and fight against the system. And that makes me mad. It makes me mad the same way that my coworkers make me mad for spreading lies and don't know the truth, don't see the truth. So I decided to forget about everything and just go to a restaurant because I was really hungry after work. And I go to my favorite restaurant, and as I'm walking in there, there's a little girl, and she looks at me, and she runs over and she says, Don, Don. And I look around to see who she's talking to because Don is what you call an old man in Spanish. And I'm way too young to be called Don. So I ignore the little girl because she's not talking to me, obviously. And she runs to my side, and she's like, Don, Don, and she starts pulling my pants. And I look at her, and I see that she has a tray with candies. And she's selling these candies. And immediately she reminds me of my mother, who used to be poor and used to beg people on the street for money. And I take the biggest bill that I have in my wallet, and I take one candy, and I give it to the girl, and I tell her, keep the change. And she has this big smile on her face, and she runs over to where her mother is waiting for her with a cardboard because they are recent arrivals and they're trying to make a living. I cannot even eat anymore. I take out my phone and I start calling the one person that's going to understand me, my mother. I call my mother and I tell her everything that's been going on during the day, and I tell her about my argument with my coworkers, and I tell her about the little girl, and then my mother says, yeah, those things are true. The Venezuelans are doing all those things. And I cannot believe it because my mother came to this country undocumented. And I asked my mother, where are you hearing all these lies from? And she says, TikTok. And I had a long conversation with my mom to finally convince her that she needed to vote. So she did vote, and she voted blue. But a lot of people didn't. So now we're living in this administration that expands the truth a little bit. I mean, we're still in a war with Ukraine. Prices are rising. They're telling you all these things. They want you to believe that detaining people without due process and sending them to a concentration camp. They want you to believe that putting homeless people in jail. They want you to believe that denying transgender people of their rights is the way to make America great. And the worst thing is that they want you to believe that after they go after the immigrants and the LGBT, they want you to believe that they will not come for you. Thank you.